Hello, everyone. Good to
Uh,
be here at this amazing event.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in. We have Mauro with us here. He's a user experience designer at Mozambank from Mozambique, and he's a very passionate designer eh, who believes in designing with a purpose and not just a passion. I know you've seen that from the title already, but his work means what he says. So. Now, without further ado, I guess we can start off with Maru. Please tell us more about designing with purpose.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting, and thank you for having me on your event. I think this is a massive moment for design and Africa. Me coming from an African country, right?
Yes.
I think that
Thank you
it
for
is.
being the support and the backbone of this. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Mauro Litsure. I'm a UX designer from a leading bank in Mozambique called Mozambanko. Mozambique is a beautiful country on the southern east coast of the African continent. For those of you who don't know, this is right here where the map is darker on the African continent. So I'm based in Maputo, which is called the city of acacias. Acacias are these beautiful trees that are all over the city with the orange, purple, sometimes yellow colors. And we also have beautiful beaches along the whole coast of Mozambique. So for those of you who would like to visit once COVID regulations are over, please feel welcome. And once again, a big thumbs up to the team at the World Class Designer Conference. This is amazing what you have been able to set up here. So my topic is on designing with purpose and not just passion. So I'm going to share my perspectives from a UX designer point of view. I'm going to start off by talking about a story which is called The Parable of the Elephant and Six Blind Men. So the story goes that in a certain village, an elephant was going to be presented to the community, right? And there were these six people who unfortunately were blind, who were going to also be at this event where the elephant was going to be showcased or presented. And once the elephant arrived at the village, the six blind men came over and started to feel the elephant. So you can already imagine that each one of them had a different perception of what the elephant seemed like or looked like. So you have one that saw the leg of the elephant as a tree. Someone saw the body as a wall. The one who touched the trunk thought that it looked like a snake or felt like a snake. And then there was the one that felt the horns as a spear. And for the ears of the elephant, one of them said that it was kind of like a fan, and the tail as a rope. So later on, we'll understand why I'm bringing up this story, but I always think it is a good way to explain where design, and in my case, UX design comes in when dealing with product development and business understanding and problem solving. So the topic mentions passion, and for me, passion was a moment of uncertainty. At the same time, it's a moment where you think you are able to do lots of things. If you look at the different disciplines in design, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a user interface designer, or whatever field that you're in, you always have the skill and you think that you can deliver whatever it is that the intended audience will need, right? So I try here to describe what passion is or define what passion is. Wikipedia says passion is a feeling of intense enthusiasm towards or compelling desire for something, right? So I say that passion comes as a result of something that you do or that you like doing. It's an energy or feeling that you have when you do something that you enjoy doing, right? It's also a feeling that makes you think that you can do work for free because you love doing it, so you won't mind doing it for free. I'm just going to briefly talk about where my passion came from, my passion for design, how it was born. I started working when I was very young at a sales shop, a gift shop here in Maputo. So a gift shop is a place where people come to look for these valuable things that they want to offer someone or offer even themselves. And here you are as a salesperson thinking that you know exactly what this person wants. So the first thing you do is you attend the person and you ask them, okay, what are you looking for? I want a gift for myself, I'm not so sure. And you go around the shop and you look for something that you think might work for this person, and then starts the process of communicating with this person, trying to find the right item, right? And then further on, I learned some graphic work, so designing graphic material. So I started drawing using the Photoshop and doing some stuff in my own time. And then I learned to code, but I was always inclined to the UI part of it, right? I was never good at algorithms, so I always knew early on that I would stick to the visual elements and visual parts of this field in the future, right? And in my professional life, it came with building business solutions, most lately for financial sector. And my solutions had to look good because that's where my passion lied, right? However, there was no clear process of how to do my work. It was all in my head, and all that mattered for me was to hand over the end product or the deliverable. But deep down, I knew that there was something missing that I needed to find out what it was, right? It doesn't matter that I think that customers or clients or users want something. I need to make sure that that's what they want, right? And then comes the purpose part. So as you can see on the squiggle image here, the purpose is the alignment part. It's the part where you start to align your passion with what you need to deliver for other people. And let me try to explain my point of view. Wikipedia says, purpose is the reason for which something exists or is done, made, used, an intended or desired result. So I'm going to say that purpose is not necessarily your passion, right? It involves other people. You are not alone in what you're doing, right? It is a reason that you do that something that you love, right? It also gives you a sense of resolve or determination. So enter UX design in my experience. So this is something I picked up maybe 3 years ago when I met a very, very important person who has somehow shifted my mindset into the world of design. And today I am embracing and following through with the UX design process in my current job. Obviously, I'm still early. I'm still early in my UX career. I'm going to complete 2 years working with UX design. Obviously, I have more than 15 years experience doing other solutions for the places that I've worked at. And with design, I discovered the empathy part of things. So for me, empathy is the basis of understanding the reason that we do what we do. the reason to solve problems. And in my case, business problems, because I work in an institution that's supposed to deliver solutions for people. And the most important things are the business problems. And these are problems that serve customers, end users, clients, you name it. So my next piece of talk here is related to process. So you figured out your passion way back. What next? What do you do with it, right? So I'm bringing back the story of the elephant and the 6 blind men. Let's for one moment place or make these blind men the business units of our organization. So these are the marketings, these are the accountings, these are the product, this is the development team, projects, any unit that you work with in your organization, right? And as you can see, the elephant is supposed to be the final product that you deliver to your customers, end users, or whoever it is. So if marketing is, for instance, the blind man that thought the horns were the spear, obviously marketing will not have the full picture of the elephant. So whatever decisions that they make or that they come up with, the assumptions, the requirements, the features that they need will only be based on that thought of seeing the spear. So they're only seeing a very small part of the elephant, right? So your role is to facilitate the overall understanding of the problem, the elephant. You need to bring forth empathy to the business units. They need to see the elephant the same way. All these units need to see the elephant in the same way. So how do you achieve the purpose within your organization? I found it interesting because this is coming from personal experience. You should never fight the existing culture. This is very important. You need to understand the way things are done internally before you can even start to force or try to implement any process that you think is useful for your organization, right? You need to identify gaps within the existing process, and then you can start to integrate your process, right? Because remember, you cannot arrive at a company, at an organization, at an institution and say, oh, I bring this thing called design or UX, and it's going to solve all your problems. The first thing that will happen is people will look at you as if you are crazy, and you will not be able to achieve your goals, all right? I also understand that you need to map out the way things are done currently. You need to see this visually, how things are done currently, and then you can show where you can integrate your own process into the existing one. It is very clear, and I highlight this, it is very critical to have a defined process and have it approved by your organization. So I'm going to share with you some tips to transition to seamlessly integrate, design your process, whatever it is that you want to implement in your organization. So like I said before, and I reiterate this, you need to define your process. It needs to be clear, it needs to be measurable, and it needs to be objective. So to the right of my screen, I have shared the process that I use. So this is like my work folder that I use on a day-to-day basis, where I have first the business research. This is where you interact with business people and you gather their requirements and all the elements related to what the business wants to do. You've got the design review, you've got the user research. I'm sure you all know what each one of these items are. I'm not going to go deep into them. This is just something that I struggled to structure when I first started my career in UX design. So I managed to come up with something that would help me along the way. So as I was saying, you need to define the process. You need to speak the language of the organization. So you know when you join some terms, some technical terms, some business terms, way people talk already exist in the organization. So you need to learn to speak that language so that you can communicate with people. You need to show how design, which is what you're bringing, validates business requirements and helps reduce rework. So for instance, if you introduce wireframing, high fidelity, low fidelity, whatever you choose, into the overall design process, and you actually help business make decisions before development actually starts, this is one way to showcase the use of design, right? You can also show that problems and solutions can be identified early on. It's also good to have your team participate in your own process, right? So they will see the rigor, the methodology, the use of data that you collected to drive your design process. Make use of the organization's language when handing in deliverables. What I'm trying to say here is whatever element or deliverable that you hand in to your organization, try to use the existing language. And then later on, after you train people, after they understand what it is, then you can start using correct terms. Because as you might imagine, these new terms do create confusion for people. And also remember to think about the people you work with and how to best communicate with them. This is very important. You need to know how to communicate with the people that you work with. I have some bonus tips here. I think, and this is something that I went through. Before trying to do anything, I had to identify key stakeholders within the organization. These are people who would show some kind of interest in your process. And these are people that you sit down with and explain what is your design process. And these are the people that will help you along the way when things are becoming more formalized and the company is actually starting to use your process, right? For every win that you have with your team, you need to document. So if someone in your team says, oh, okay, this thing that you did, maybe a wireframe or a prototype or something, or research, this thing that you did actually helped me or helped us to make things faster or improve the way we're doing things. You need to document that and use that as leverage when you are proving your business return on investment. This is when you start to use these wins, right? And also spend time training your team in the language of design. And remember not to force things on people, make a seamless transition. I'm going to now talk about some of the challenges that I had, or that I have, right? The picture here, I find this very funny because this is very true. This is true life. When you're the only designer in your company, you feel very lonely. It's as if you are working towards something which is unclear. You know your worth, you know your process, you know what you can bring, but then no one else sees it. So this is a very big challenge that you can have. This is if you're a team of one. But if you have UX already or any design process integrated in your organization, then life might be a little bit easier. So for me personally, the imposter syndrome, this is that doubt or where you think you're not good enough to deliver. This is a challenge that comes when you enter this career, especially if you're alone, right? It is very energy draining. So most of the work that you do, if I go back to a previous slide, most of the work that you do, if we look at this, this process or this structure, most of this work sometimes is not even noticed. Only the end result is seen. So imagine the energy and effort that went into all of that work. And then sometimes you can feel drained by all of that because it is not necessarily understood. It will happen that companies will see you as the wireframe person. So you will only be called upon when some wireframe mock-up needs to be done. And that's when you become important. But you need to try and shift people's mindset, organizations' mindset that you are not a wireframe person. A wireframe is a part of the process. It's a deliverable of the process. So you have to try and make that reach the decision makers within your team and so forth. As I said before, it can become very lonely, and then self-doubt will start kicking in. And at the end of the day, you sit and you say, oh, am I really able to do this? Do I want to do this? But obviously, when you have your process defined and you know exactly what you want to do, then you know how to tackle all these challenges. And remember, if you are accepted as a designer in your organization, no one knows what you're supposed to do. Only you know, right? So don't wait for work to be given to you. You have to own the process. You need to come up with the work. You need to hand people what they need because you're the one that knows, right? And I'm going to almost end by sharing two quotes that I like very much. I always remember these when I'm feeling challenged, is that we can't solve problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So this is where design comes in, is okay, we have a solution that has been done before. This is how it is working. But of course, design can always improve, right? We can always find out what are the real problems for the users or the clients or whoever the solution is intended for. And the second one is the people who need design ingenuity. The poorest 90% of the global population have historically been deprived of it. This quote for me resonates with this conference because this is, as I understand, the objective of the conference is also to spark or disseminate, spread, make design known from Africa in Africa. And for a very long time, Africa has been somehow deprived of these ways of doing things. And I think that this quote is very, very opening, right? And I've come to the end of my talk. I hope that I have been able to share my experience and at the same time spark interest and maybe make some people see what they are doing wrong and how they can actually overcome some of the challenges that they are having in their own work or challenges. And thank you once again for the organizers. This is a massive event, and may you continue doing more events like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauro. It is amazing to hear such words from you. And it was an amazing presentation, which clearly puts out your ideas. And I think you personally covered a lot of the answers, questions that the people were looking for answers. But maybe you could put it again in another way. People are wondering how you could align your personal experience from your personal experience. How can you align the passion and the purpose if they are not going the same path? How can you bring that, make that happen?
If they're not going in the same direction.
Yeah, how can you balance it to bring the purpose and the passion to be in sync?
Okay. I think first of all, it's important that you identify your passion, right? You need to first know that, okay, what I'm doing now is what I would like to be doing in the next 5 years, maybe 10. You need to make sure that that is the case. And then wherever you go, you need to know that I'm going to have a purpose in applying my passion to, in this context, solve problems, solve business problems, solve community problems, or whatever it is that you want to solve, right? What I'm trying to say is, don't just have a passion that serves you. So it serves your ego. You want to know, or you want to show that, yes, I can draw, I can design, I can do coding, but what is the end result? What is the purpose of it? So I think for me, you have to find both moments in your journey.
Well, that's great to hear. I think that's something that all of us can learn. And we're really happy to have you. And thank you so much for your talk. And see you around for the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone that was here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone will be starting the next talk in a few minutes with Sunesh Dasan. Okay.